Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York. Let me get in the middle. Or if you're already doing, how to grow your business. Got a great suggestion for a topic. What do you do when you can't sell a wholesale deal? All right. Thank you, Greg, for the suggestion. And there really are only two choices, right? The choice A is to close on the deal yourself, and choice B is to get out of the contract. Now, let's deal with choice B first. When you talk to gurus online, they're talking to you about, they have inspection contingencies. If you can't find a buyer during the inspection contingency, let me just explain what that means. An inspection contingency is, in a lot of states, you go to contract, and then you get like a 2-week period where you can do an inspection. And if you don't like the inspection, you can get out. Basically, it's a get out of contract free clause in the contract. Very common in 49 states, not so common in New York. So if you have a contingency that lets you out, you want to get out real quick. If you can't sell the wholesale deal, if you don't want to close. Now, for my situation, I very, very, very rarely had any kind of contingencies in any of my contracts. I'm usually all in. I got to close on it, or I have to assign it. Those are usually my two choices. Occasionally, a seller's attorney will be a complete knucklehead, and I'll put in a mortgage contingency. I just spoke to someone who they put in like a contingent. It was buying a house as is, but they put in that everything has to work, and everything doesn't work. So it happens, right? You may ask yourself, how does that happen? A lot of attorneys are morons. That's the truth. And also, sometimes there's very bad communication between the seller and the attorney, and the seller just says, get the contract out, and questions aren't even asked, and people don't read it. But let's assume you can't easily get out of the contract. So you can still get out of the contract if you want to forfeit your deposit. Also, you don't have to necessarily forfeit deposit. You can say, listen, I don't want to close. I don't want to give you all the deposit back. Maybe I'll give you some. Depends how much you put down, right? If you're putting down $20,000, you may split the baby and keep 10 and have them keep 10. They might be okay with that. Also, another way, I've gotten out of a contract once because there was a title issue. So you can run title and see if something shows up that is a problem, and then you can sort of hang your hat on that. I got very lucky. I had a deal in East Hampton. I had a $100,000 deposit on it, and I litigated for the money. There was a real title problem. There was a scenic easement which did not allow me to build on most of the property. Right, I wanted to put a pool in. There was all kinds of things I wanted to do there, and I said I want out, and they said no. They held on to it. I think we even offered them half back. They said no, and we won summary judgment for the whole $100,000 because we had something to argue. So that's what I would say. If you want to get out of the contract, run the title and see if there's something in there that gives you something to hang your litigation on. Right? It's possible. But let's talk more about option A, which was to close on the property. Now, if I am going to contract on something that I believe I can wholesale, I should certainly believe that it's a good deal for me to close on. Of course, now there are people out there who will say, I never want to close, right? There are people out there who will say, well, I heard from guru X, Y, and Z that I never have to close on the deal because I don't have money for that, right? So the truth is, right, if the deal is good enough that you thought you were going to wholesale it, I'm sorry, I got to call this guy back. It's probably good enough that you can get money for it, right? You can raise the funds for it, and you can do the work yourself. Right, you may have an option to maybe wholesale the property. So maybe you looked at it and said it's a $650,000 house that you're buying for, let's say, $400,000. Maybe as is, it's worth $500,000, or maybe with a minimal amount of work, you close on it and then do a minimal amount of work and then get rid of it. That's a possibility. Make a little bit of money instead of a lot of money. If you can get financing that pays for the construction, you can close on it and do that. A lot of hard money lenders will give you 100% of the construction financing funding. Whatever the budget is to do the work, but you are going to have to get paid in arrears. That means you're going to have to lay out money to the contractor to start. When he finishes X work, they're going to pay you back. So you're going to need a scope of work that says this is going to happen. Just for example, we're going to do demolition and demo the kitchen and the bathrooms. That's step one. After that, I get 20% of my construction. Step two is we're going to tile the bathrooms and we're going to tile the kitchen floor and put in the cabinets, and then they'll give you another 20%. Step three is we're going to paint all the walls and fix all the sheetrock. That's just an example. So And then when everything's done, they'll give you the money back. So you may have to lay out some cash to start, but you will get all that money back when the work is done. That is definitely an option. So I think if you're in a situation where you can't wholesale something, it's really best to be in a. I have stayed away from properties because that I sort of wanted to wholesale, because I said, if this doesn't work out the way I want to, I'm going to have to close on it. I don't want to do the work. So I remember I had a property, I think it was in Cold Spring Harbor, and it was a massive job. It was a fire damaged mansion, huge property, pool, tremendous amount of damage. And I thought I could make money wholesaling, but I was like, if I can't find a buyer for this it was like a $600,000 to $800,000 renovation, and it was going to take forever. The permitting was going to be significant, and I just said, you know what, I don't want to get into it. So I know that most people that teach this, and in 49 states, will say, who gives a crap? Take your inspection period. If you don't get anybody by that time, you get out, or you extend the inspection period. But in New York, all inspections get done before the contract, right? People heads explode when I tell them this. When you go in New York, and you want to do an inspection, they're like, great, do it, and any repairs you want, we'll put it in the contract, which to me makes much more sense. But in other parts of the country, you get in the contract, yeah, we're in contract, whoop-de-doo, we're in contract, here's a check for $50 that I'm going to wipe my tuchus with. And then there's this period of inspection. Now, that is very common in commercial properties, in New York or anywhere, right? Because you have a due diligence period, because you need to see all the leases, and then and God forbid it's rent control, you need to see all the history on the rent control, and you need to see all these things. So it's always assumed that you're going to get into contract and then do that, right? I want to see that you're serious. You're going to give me a deposit. But on residential properties in New York, it's just not done that way. It's done where, and I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why it's done that way is because attorneys prepare the contract in New York, not buyers or sellers. And the attorneys don't want to prepare a contract where there's an out clause, where there's a contingency where anybody can just walk away. They don't want to spend their precious time on it, right? I guess I understand it to some extent, although it is a little bit of pain in what we do. So if you're getting into a wholesale deal, if you thought you could make money wholesaling it, then you really should think you could make money if you rehab it. Now, what we're seeing now, I'm filming this at the end of June 2022, the market is shifting down. If you haven't seen it yet, then you're not doing a lot of deals, because cash buyers, rehabbers are getting spooked, and market is tipping, right? I just sent out 2 price reductions today. I haven't sent out a price reduction ever, right? I'm doing this maybe once, 10 years ago when I overpriced something else. I don't know what I was doing. So that's happening, right? You're going to have to be on top of that, and I have to buy at a deeper discount if you're in this business, and you have to be prepared for cash buyers to walk from deals that they probably would have jumped at recently. So there's still a demand for deals. That rehabbers still want deals, but they are getting much more careful. And the great Jason Lewis from Utah was saying, like, he used to put out deals, he used to get 40 offers on them, now he gets 4. So when he said that to me, like when he said that a few weeks ago, I was like, okay, he's still getting 4 offers, but the truth is, the deals that I was going to get 5 offers on, I got none. So you have to be careful, and you have to be concerned the price you're buying it at. And sometimes sellers haven't really been told that, hey, we're not in Kansas anymore, and you are going to have to drop your price because it's going to go down, right? And I really don't know how much it's going to go down. I don't know how long it's going to go down for, right? So theoretically, if prices drop 2% a month, and I'm in this deal for a year, it's 24% less. That can kill everything. So I would be very, very concerned. You need to buy deals at a lower price. You need to be in contact with your buyers list and see if they're still buying, what kind of numbers they're looking for, that kind of thing. I think it's important to do that, but I think that if you're getting into a deal where you really thought you could make money wholesaling it, it should be something where you can close on it. So you should get funding, look into funding partners, right? Hard money lenders or gap funders that can come in the middle, and it's something that you should be looking at. I think it's important to be on top of it. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. what else? Or you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. You're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help my SEO, my search engine optimization, so more people see my videos. And please keep the comments coming. I go live 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. Your comments give me ideas that I really want to help you with. So please be in touch with me with any ideas you have. Thank you very, very much for watching. Hey, Daniel, how you doing?